Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it appears that we've got our first example today of how, apparently, Hero Games has listened. That's right, I said Hero Games, not Kuro Games, because the Duet Night Abyss devs have gone ahead and come out with a bit of an announcement, a bit of an apologies on the state of the global launch, and of course, with that, quite a decent bit of rewards. And so before we dive onto the specifics over here, why don't we just go ahead and take a look at how they're directly going to be addressing the player base regarding all of this. Good afternoon. Since the global launch of Duet Night Abyss, we have been truly moved by your warm support and active participation. Thank you for your attention and love for our game. At the same time, we are fully aware that the global launch has fallen short in many aspects and has failed to deliver the ideal experience you deserve. So I just want to be honest and upfront when I talk about my personal experiences with the game. I've had absolutely no issues at all with pretty much anything inside of it. It's played exactly how I imagined. I have sunk probably close to 10 plus hours into it. Started a little bit late just because of, you know, dealing with Wuthering Waves 2.7, Chuyan, his guide, all of that, and also being sick. But I've basically been glued to the game ever since. I'm enjoying it a lot. And frankly, this reminds me a lot about Wuthering Waves 1.0, where I had none of the launch issues that everyone was ranting and raving about, and I just ended up getting a bunch of free shit on top of the regular baseline gameplay that I was already enjoying. And for this game, it appears the same exact damn thing is happening. I'll be getting a bunch of free shit, despite the fact that I've had no issues at all with anything in the game since its launch. I'm sure there's a lot of other individuals who fall into the same bucket, and we're all going to be loving these rewards all the same. And so for that, we sincerely apologize, even though for me, they have nothing to apologize for. Though there probably are people out there that are trying to play this game on the iPhone 3, and, you know, they're definitely suffering a lot. Saint from the future over here just wanted to give some additional context to some of the specific changes that are actually coming as well alongside those rewards in some future versions. So first and foremost, they're just going to make some broad sweeping changes over to like the UI to help improve the overall mobile experience. Stuff like enlarging UI text, adding a special helix jump button instead of requiring the, you know, the whole like crouch jump interaction, which I imagine can be a little bit hard in mobile. And then they're enhancing just some optimizations when it comes to like the overall graphics, lighting, and performance over here. They also just kind of like reiterated some of the information of how you acquire the new characters. It wasn't as clear as it probably could have been on release, and, you know, just reclarified that. And then they also said that secret letter clues, which are required, right, to be able to purchase any secret letter in the game to go grind it and hopefully get those nice rewards, they're just adding them to all enemies as a possible drop. And those rates are going to increase with the trial rank. I've personally actually gone ahead and been able to grind a fair number of secret letter clues just from repeatedly doing random commissions, right? Things like defense to go get my forging materials, so on and so forth. Those are kind of like the main new additions that are coming in, and then the rest are just going to be like some bug fixes for things like crashes, server stability, so on and so forth. Great changes that we're seeing overall to, you know, add more variability to how you can acquire characters, and of course, that nice 200 that we're getting to is going to be a great benefit as well. But just wanted to make sure that we were updated on some of the big ticket line items that are coming with that generous compensation. Through social media, communities, and community service, or customer service and in-game surveys, we have carefully collected and reviewed your feedback. So they're already listening. There's actually a reason why they sent out their version satisfaction survey just yesterday, and now they're releasing these rewards today. We are genuinely grateful for every valuable suggestion you have provided. And as a token of our apology for the issues since launch, we will send the following to all players via in-game mail. They're giving out 10 premium skin pulls, 200 secret letter clues, and 5 commission manuals. So some people that are either a little bit newer to the game or some individuals that aren't completely caught up with how the systems and the resources work within the game might not actually know what the whole value of these are. So I would say the prismatic hourglasses are entirely just like a cosmetic thing. You pull on the skin gacha with those, and they don't actually have much of a weight at all on your actual progression throughout the game. How you're building your characters, how you're like building your teams or building your weapons, all of that. So not too much of like actual stuff that affects the grind when it comes to getting, well, you can see over here, the prismatic hourglasses, that's what's in the mail. And this is how you spend them. However, when it comes to the other rewards, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is where stuff gets a little bit spicy. They're giving out a whole whopping 200 secret letter clues. And these are actually really, really, really important. And the reason why they're important is because secret letters is how you obtain, basically, most of the characters in the game, right? And the secret letter shop that you're seeing over here is where you're gonna spend the 200 that they just gave us. And let me be honest when I say this. Buying about 20 secret letter clues, or what you would be able to purchase after, you know, spending the 200, is basically close enough to get a copy of the character. Based off of, like, average drop rates, all of that, the grind that you're gonna go through, 20 secret letters should be pretty close to what you actually need to effectively pull a unit. You still have to go through the grind, the commissions, so on and so forth to actually unlock these letters and hopefully get things like the thoughts that are used to make the units. But that's how far 20 is actually going to get you. It's the same exact thing for the weapons in this game. Weapons are also something where you want about 20 copies of them, and that should be enough for you to get pieces like one of the components of the weapon, the other higher rarity component, and then the blueprint. Those three components, alongside some other premium forgery materials that you can get just from grinding and repeating stages, is what you need to make a weapon. And so here's just an example of what the forging process looks like on my end, because I actually got pretty lucky. I have Psyche, the first limited character. I know, it's not really the right term to use, but we'll just use it. That's going to be available in the game, launching in 1.0. I have the copies of, like, you know, the components of the weapon, and then I was able to get the actual blueprint itself off of a lucky drop. I got all of this in only 9 secret letter clues, but I'm on the luckier end. But 20, on the other hand, that's usually reliable enough to get at least 1 copy of the blueprint, because that is something that's on a 10% drop rate. The blueprint's over here. So with 20, on average, you should probably be getting it. In reality, you should be getting it every 10 secret clues. And so you can probably see how impactful having 20 can actually be. Because that means, ladies and gentlemen, you should be able to go ahead and theoretically get the materials for any weapon that you would reasonably want. And so with that in mind, you might be wondering, okay, what are some of the good weapons to actually go for, Saint? And I'm going to be real over here. I think it's really difficult to be the judge of what weapons are pretty high value right now. I'm personally in the boat that weapons like Reminiscence, right, which you actually unlock pretty early, might be a good pick because it has a super unique effect where you regenerate your energy. And then you also increase your attack range, so it's easier for you to hit enemies. This is a cool little utility weapon that you might find really useful on certain characters. And another pick that I found to be really, really, really interesting was Blue Current Pulse. And this one is unlocked really later on in the game. You gotta be like trial level 43, which does take a while to get to. But I was just taking a look at this bad boy, and I was just like, wait. It increases your skill duration, so characters like Rebecca that really like having their jellyfish or their area effects on the field longer might see some benefit from this. And it even has a backup effect where when projectiles hit enemies or the environment, they bounce. So this almost becomes like a AoE weapon, even though it's just like a dual pistol. The fact that it bounces, and then it also has a secondary buff as well, where it increases dual pistol damage by 45%. This one looks a little bit cracked. I'm gonna be real with you. I think that this one might be one of the strongest picks that you have available, but I'm not super sure, right? And I don't want people to take the words that I'm saying right now, just kind of like this napkin theory crafting, too much to heart. But those are just some of my initial picks right off of the bat for where you probably can't go very wrong. Because anything with summons they're going to be able to benefit from skill duration, and every character can use every single weapon in the game, while some characters do naturally have some preferences. Other picks that you might really want to think about are, I think a lot of people have really been liking Silverwing Edict because it kind of just attacks like way faster. I personally have been grinding a copy of this for like some fun. Those are going to be just some of like the initial picks that I have ready for you. A lot of the other weapons, in my opinion, are a little bit boring, and that's why I wasn't really suggesting them. You got things like Rendhusk that are just like, okay, character attack plus 60%. That is pretty decent, though. And then, you know, like things like Wither Shade, where it's just like skill range plus 36%. All of those things impact like the stats of your character. So you can have weapons that are entirely geared just towards improving your character's abilities, and they don't really serve that great as weapons themselves. But I decided to heavily push for this one because it seems like a good blend between both and offers some pretty interesting, capabilities, right? So just some thoughts, but of course, it probably does matter a lot to actually wait on some more established videos as more and more people are able to grind out more and more of the weapons and see just how nice some of the use cases actually are for what's being offered over here. But yeah, those would just be some of my overall general picks. Another thing to also keep in mind is that if you have weapons that you're enjoying a lot, for example, I'm using Wayne Wraith, which increases skill damage by 24%. I'm using this on my Rebecca because her jellyfishes are skill damage, right? You want to actually R5 weapons, because when you do things like increase your trial rank, which lets you unlock the later stages, later advancements and levels and all of that. And, well, it's actually useful to get dupes of weapons.
Are you inviting me?
Because they're theoretically free. But also, if I go over to Smelt, you'll see that it's going to improve that passive damage bonus to skill damage, and then also give me trial rank experience on top of it. So that's another method that you can go for as well with these secret letters. Hyper invest in a specific sort of character that you feel like you're going to be using very, very, very often. It might be a character like Rebecca, who's one of like the best farmers that exists in the game, and there's a lot of stages that require a lot of farming. That could be really useful as well. And again, even when you get copies of a character, you improve their Intron levels, you do all of that, and level up Intron to earn 250 trial EXP. And that's another method that you can go for to keep, to keep up the grind going. That's gonna be the secret letters, but there's more. We've clearly talked about just how beneficial these first two pieces are. The limited pulls, not so much. But they're also coming out with commission manuals. And I think a lot of people are not fully understanding the best time to use these, the best time to actually make the most value out of these. And this is my take on these. Use these whenever you want. It doesn't matter when you're using these, because all these do is simply increase your commission rewards by X%. For here, you're seeing that we just got a bunch of ones that increase it by 800%. This is just the same exact thing as repeating a stage 8 times. This would be different if Duet Night Abyss had a stamina system. Because one thing that we know for certain is that when you go into like these commission stages, right? The ones at the beginning reward a lot less than the ones later on. That's just a fact. But when these don't cost anything to enter, and they don't cost anything to complete, it doesn't really matter whether or not you decide to use a commission manual or not. Because the reality is, that only matters if you only have a set number of times you can actually enter one of these stages a day, but you don't. I could bust out 30 of these if I wanted to, and then immediately follow up with 30 more at this difficulty. And it's not really that big of a deal. However, there is one strategy over here with the commissions that I feel like a lot of people might find really interesting. And this is actually going to go hand in hand with the weapon forging process that I'm about to show you right now. One of the barriers with forging weapons is the fact that you need this material called sharpening potions. You go into it, right? And you're like, okay, shit, this sharpening potion has a lot of other tertiary components. You'll notice over here, it's like, oh, that's a lot of stuff that you gotta gather. And one of the main materials that you need to actually, like, get these weapons forged is none other than, and you go into the gold sand. Okay, well, I'll just cancel it for now. It's fine. I'll cancel it for now. You need these Luno Mementos. And the only way to get these is from doing this commission defense. However, there's a bit of a trick to getting a lot of these really fast. And so I'll just show you. So I'm going to choose the highest difficulty that I can right now, level 50. We're going to go ahead, we're going to start the challenge, and we're, oddly enough, not actually going to use a booster over here. And you'll see why. My goal is to grind these as fast and potentially as efficiently as possible. So let's just go ahead and see what I do. Keep in mind that this is just a standard defense mission, so a character like Rebecca is actually really awesome to use for this. I just go over here. I start the stage, I post up, get my jellyfishies out. Probably summon them a little bit too early. Oh shit, yeah, I'll just move it here. Wait, no. I'll move that one here. There we go. And now I can kind of just sit here and chill. My jellyfishes will typically handle everything at these lower levels. And this first wave is just going to fly by. If I feel like my thing is getting attacked too much, I'll just get in the middle of everybody, then use my ultimate. Boom. Crowds controlled. And do remember, right, like this is the maximum difficulty I can do at the moment, but you'll see why. I didn't use the commission bonus on this type of stage. They also have a couple of elites like this that are just unbelievably tanky. All of the other enemies will be like dead, but then they'll just like still be alive chilling. And so we've completed the first wave, right? But this is what you can clearly see over here. That first one only rewarded 9, and now this second wave, if I do complete it, is gonna reward 12. And so you'll also get the option of using your commission manuals in this manner after you've already increased your rewards. The first one was 9, this one's 12. So I'll go ahead and use a blue commission for this one. And now I'll get the 200% drops at the higher increased reward rate. And so instead of spending that on one that was going to give 9, well, guess what, guys? I was spending it on one that's giving me 12. And then the one after this one is going to be 15. All right? And now, you can see over here, oh, that's looking pretty good. But now this next wave goes up to 15. All the way up from 9. And you'll notice on wave 4, it resets again. All the way back down to 9. So, for this one, I'm going to go ahead and just use my gold one. Yeah, I'm going to use one of the gold ones that I got for free. Just for demo purposes. And you can see how crazy it goes.
Now, do you want to continue?
Because, yeah, I don't want to really farm for these again. But I'm going to need a lot of them to forge any of my characters. I'm going to need a massive amount of them. Or forge any of my weapons. And you can see over here, the enemies have gotten to level 60. And they're going to be a fair bit of a challenge. You can see, oh, my guy's kind of dying. My structure's kind of dying. I kind of got to focus up. Sure, it's got a lot of HP left, but not a lot of shields. So yeah, I can like enjoy that there's a pretty significant like difficulty spike for those increased rewards. Makes you do feel like you're earning them a little bit. And again, there's no issue at all with just doing only the first difficulty of the stage. But I'm trying to save some time over here. Right? Because time is money in this game. And you spend money so you don't have to spend that much time. That's why you can just buy the characters and the weapons. Oh, my shit's getting chunked. Oh, wait. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, wait. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. I may have messed up. Hey, where's my sanity at? Yo, I need some sanity back. Yo. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I may have messed up. Okay, get him out of here.
Going down your throat.
Whew, that got a little bit stressful there. I was kind of griefing. Yeah, don't chase enemies in this game mode. You will.
How much longer must the flames of war?
Well, at least if you're gonna go this high in the difficulty level, yeah, don't chase the enemies around. Your shit will get cooked immediately. Look at this combo meter. Oh my god. Now that we're finally done with that stage, let's go ahead and see what some of the rewards are looking like. Are y'all ready? So, 120 of these bad boys, because we got an 800% multiplier, up from the baseline reward of 15. 24, because we decided to only 2x that, and then we 0x this one because it was only 9. And that's pretty damn good once you think about it. Because now I'm going to retreat. And that would have been the equivalent of me running. Let's just see over here. 30, that's going to be 180. So in the time that I spent doing that, 180, let's see how many times I would have had to done the baseline defense one. I would have had to do defense about, on here, 20 times. Because I used those 2 commissions, I basically did 20 times worth of grinding in one 3-wave run. I did the equivalent of 20. And that is the point of using commissions. And this is the thing. Yes, you could save all of your commissions for when you're at a higher trial level and theoretically get more for the time that you're spending. But that's all it is. It's not like you have a limited number of them like you would if there was stamina or like wave plates or any of that. You have an infinite number that you can do every day. These commissions are just being done so that, honestly, when the grind is at its slowest early on in the game, you can get more of the grinding done faster. And if anything, I don't feel like these are as beneficial when you're later on in the game, when you have, like, perfected builds, you've got, like, crazy demon wedges, crazy equipment, crazy built characters and multiple dupes on them, because then you'll just be clearing the stage as fast as fuck. And so, being able to increase the number of rewards that you're getting for completing the stages doesn't really feel like it matters as much versus when you are, I don't know, a lot lower level, don't really have that great demon wedges, don't really have the weapons or the characters or the dupes to match everything up together and have the most efficiency. Personally, I'm in the boat of just use them whenever you feel like, just not spending that much time grinding XYZ thing out, and you'll typically just be perfectly fine. I've been using them pretty liberally, and I still have a lot that I can go to because I'm just making sure I'm using them only when I actually need them. And so that's going to be my tip, my sort of breakdown for that part of the rewards. And do keep in mind, you're getting 5 of those. And so you saw the impact of just one of them. So getting 5 is also something that's going to be pretty damn helpful. You can also go ahead and actually upgrade these as well. This one, for example, gives you 2,000%, which is nice, but like that requires 4 800%. So I'm not really sure if that's really like a good trade. Most people might think that's a pretty dog shit trade to go from, well, 4 is going to give you 3,200%. And then this one's 2,000. I don't know, you do the math. But if you really want to like be super lazy, hey, go for volume 4. That'll give you the 20x that you're looking for. Now to talk about when it comes to secret letters is that it's always beneficial as well to just wait to spend them if you're happy with the characters that you have and you're happy with the weapons that you have. And the reason for that is pretty simple. It's because the best demon wedges in the game are only available via, or I do believe, or at least the ones over here are available via secret letters. This might not be the only way to get them. And you'll notice over here that these are very strong, giving things like skill damage, skill range, and then just a straight up increase to the attack of a certain element. And you will want to grind these secret letters quite a bit when you're later on in the game and able to actually unlock them, because, well, the rewards for them are experience for the demon wedges they use to level them up, or a blueprint for a really, really high tier one. And the goal, right, on an endgame build is to probably, you know, have a bunch of these. Have a bunch of these on a character of your choice to make them as strong as you can. So you could just go ahead and stock up on the secret letters, assuming you have everybody you want, and then unload them, right, on these really, really, really strong recipes. Or really, strong secret letters that you can get the recipes for strong demon wedges for. And even if you don't get them, right, hey, you're getting the Carmine Globals that you need to actually level them up. And I've been noticing that this resource kind of is a little bit more sparing than I wish it was, than I wish it was in the first place. I'm starting to feel myself kind of constrain some of the upgrades that I'm going for, just so that I don't actually run out of these, just in case there is something really good that drops. So do keep that in mind. That's another part of the economy when it comes to this game, and it's very likely that you'll want to spend at least a good number of secret letters, at least getting a couple of these as you're going throughout your grind. Those are my takes on the free rewards Duet Night Abyss has given us. Once again, I'm not somebody that has been impacted by any of the issues that are being talked about, but I will be impacted by the benefits. And hopefully you've been able to take the advice, some of the takes that I've had over here, to extend the runtime of these benefits on your account as well. So yeah, let me know what you all thought about this one, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out.